2024 Hamvention Preview. Got that coming up next. Bill from Ham Radio Basics here. If you like the content of this video or anything on my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's begin. The other night, I hosted Ham Radio Basics Live, and for a majority of that show, we discussed the preview for 2024 Hamvention in Dayton, Ohio. So without any further ado, let's roll that clip in its entirety. Okay, Hamvention 2024, sponsored by the Dayton Amateur Radio Association, Greene County Fairgrounds and Expo Center, May 17th to 18th, or 19th, I'm sorry, okay? And then they go into a little explanation here. It's Friday, it's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, it's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And Sunday, it's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., okay? And this is over in Xenia, Ohio. Now, Xenia is, for lack of a better term, it's a suburb of Dayton, if you want to call it that. It's kind of funny they refer to this as Dayton. Well, it did get started in Dayton in 1952, going back to the history of it, and I believe it was held over at Hara Arena over in Dayton. But they moved to a much larger and more spacious area with the Greene County Fairgrounds over in Xenia. Now, it's not a hop, skip, and a jump from Xenia to Dayton. It does take probably about 20, 30 minutes to get over there from here. So they still refer to it as the Dayton Hamvention. Okay. And again, this is a splash page for this, and they talk about some of the things from 2023, the attendance and so forth. And it gives you a countdown. It's 4 weeks, 1 day. Okay. So it's, we're knocking on the door. It's coming up real quickly. So, I hope a lot of you guys are going. Hey, Sergeant Rock, welcome. Good to see you tonight, my friend. All right. The next thing I want to go over here is, let's see here. FAQs and we're going to go over frequently asked questions and rules. So I thought that this would be a good place to start. Okay. To ask questions like, can the shuttles handle power scooters? Do you have ADA parking? General information. Can I have a weapon in the flea market? Package pickup, parking information here, testing information, ticket information, and volunteer information. So, and you're free to go ahead and look at that at your leisure. But I wanted to go ahead and let you know they do have a pretty good exhaustive section on that here. So, I'm gonna go ahead and find. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, I want to find parking now. One of the things that I wanted to make sure that we talk about tonight was when you go there are some options available as far as parking is concerned, and I wanted to go over those here with you. Okay, now you can park Greene County Fairgrounds general parking, and one of the things I can say, it's weather dependent, meaning if they've had a lot of rain, it's going to be just a big pile of mud, and they're probably not going to have you park there. Where we're going to do our parking is the Xenia High School. And what I'm going to do is let me back out here a little bit. You can see the Xenia High School is right here, and the fairgrounds is right here, the convention center or whatever, the county expo, Greene County Expo Center. So it's not a far trip, and shuttles run frequently there, and there's plenty of parking at the high school. I've talked to people who have done this before. Now, there's also a Hobson Freedom Park, and that's a little bit further ways away. It's closed Sunday. Shuttles will not run to this lot, so just to let you know that. So my choice would be to go to the Xenia High School. Again, you can see right here, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump. It would take probably less than 5 minutes drive on one of the buses to get there. So just to let you know that. Now, it does talk about directions here, and I wanted to stop for a second on this, and also I'm going to tie this in with accommodations. Like I said, it gives you directions from Dayton, from Columbus, from Cincinnati, from Toledo, from Indianapolis. Okay. One of the major routes right here, and I can tell you, this is located near Cedarville, Ohio, and Cedarville University. And the reason I mention that is my two older children both went to Cedarville University. And it's about 10 miles south of Interstate 70. And Cedarville is literally almost a football throws away from Xenia. It's probably no more than 10 minutes. And what I would suggest doing is if you're coming from either Indianapolis or Columbus, you want to come in on Interstate 70. And Cedarville, like I said, is so close. You probably want to get off on the Cedarville exit. It would probably, I think it still says Cedarville University, and take that south and then follow your GPS directions over to Xenia. And you get into Xenia. Xenia is very easy to drive around in, by the way. I've been there as much as I've been in Tampa. Okay. And I've lived in Tampa for 13 years and I know that area very well. So that would be a suggestion. And let's go ahead. And what I want to do right now is we're going to go ahead and look at accommodations. I wanted to go over that. Okay. Yeah. Hotel, motel information. Okay. Let's go ahead and go over that. All right. And it lists a number of places here. Huber Heights, that's close by. Dayton is close by. Fairborn, that's right there. Huber Heights, that's close. Dayton South. Springfield, that's very close by. Miamisburg, that's a little ways away. There's Centerville, Ohio. And here's Cedarville. Hearthstone Inns and Suites, it's in Cedarville, which is fairly close. And there's another one in Fairborn, Ohio. Now, if you're finding that their suggested hotel, motel information, if everybody's booked, I'm going to offer a suggestion. I'm going to offer to take a look in staying at the west side of Columbus or a place called Hilliard, Ohio. I lived in Columbus for 30 years, so that's where I've lived most of my life, so I know that area extremely well. I would recommend staying over there because it's no more than a 45-minute trip from there down to Xenia, and it's all interstate. It's Interstate 70, and you would be going you would not be going with traffic. You'd be going against the traffic, which would be fantastic because everybody's heading into Columbus to go to work. But coming this way towards Dayton, you should be very good at that time of day. So that would be something I would recommend if you haven't found anything to look over on the west side of Columbus, specifically Hilliard. You would more than likely be able to find accommodations there, and chances are really good they're not going to raise their rates like a lot of these places have for Hamvention. I know, when we stayed in Hamcation, we stayed at a hotel that was favored by Hamcation, and I think the rates were they actually gave us some special rates. They may have special rates for people who are coming to Hamvention. I don't know. But I would imagine a lot of these places that they have recommended right now, they're going to be packed. Hey, Janice, welcome. Good to see you tonight. So that would be my suggestion for this. Like if these places are booked, you would want to look on the west side of Columbus, specifically Hilliard, Ohio, or if you have to, look in Dublin, Ohio. It's a little bit further north. But I know there are plenty of places around there. And that's a place I would strongly recommend you take a look at. It's a straight shot on Interstate 70 over there. It's very easy to get there, very easy. And I speak with a little bit of authority because, like I said, I lived there for 30 years. So that would be my recommendation as far as, hotel, motels, if these are not booked. But you definitely call them up, check them out. They may have availability. So, okay, let's go ahead and move on here. Now, what I want to do is show you, I found a map of all the buildings here. So let's go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see that. All right. You can see building 1, building 2, building 3. There's building 4 and building 5. So this is very different from Hamcation. In Hamcation, basically everything, I'm going to say almost all the exhibitors, or 90% of them, were in one building, and maybe 10% were in another building. And here they're spread out, and they're spread out in 5 different buildings. So definitely something you want to do is put on your walking shoes. Okay. You're going to need good, comfortable shoes. And I have wonderful New Balance shoes with insoles. there. So, and what's nice about this is, and we're going to look at the exhibitors here in a minute. Now, you can go ahead with this information and tie with the exhibitor list that I have listed in the description and find out which ones are in which building, because that's a very fluid thing and that changes. But the exhibitor list is current as of today. So, or I think maybe as of yesterday. So it's fairly up to date, and we'll go over that here in a minute. But what I wanted to do was to kind of give you guys an idea. You can see this is the ticket gate. This is where you would come in. So the idea is to go to 1, 2, 3, hit 4, and then hit 5. That would be the suggested way to go ahead and do that. See, there's a dining hall here, and of course, I know they're going to have food vendors there and everything. But one of the other things that I recommend, and I really strongly recommend, maybe bring a couple of water bottles with you, and take some water. If you have like a backpack, like I'm going to be taking a backpack, I'm going to throw a couple in there just so Valerie and I can have something, because the weather's starting to get warmer up north. Down here, it's getting oppressive. It was like in the high 80s today. It was in the 90s yesterday here in Ohio. So here in Florida. So go figure. But in Ohio at this time of year, the weather starts to get really nice. And, and especially if it's a very sunny day, you're also going to want to think about sunscreen. You're also going to possibly hats, and definitely you want to have plenty of water, because you can get dehydrated, especially if you're walking between all these buildings. Now, one of the things that I can tell you, and this is because I haven't been here, but everybody, and I've seen pictures, the vendor areas are much larger here at Hamvention than they are in Hamcation. I'm going to say easily probably double, because again, remember, all of what you're seeing here is basically in one building in Hamcation, but at Hamvention it's spread out. It's spread out among several buildings, which is nice because it allows the vendors and exhibitors to bring more items to be able to sell or to show or to demonstrate. So that's a plus, and that's a plus for us. And one of the things I can also recommend too, and this is based on my experience in I've been to Hamcation twice, but based on that, take your time. My recommendation is to try to get there earlier rather than later. The parking situation probably won't be bad at all, because you'll be parking over at the high school. So that will be very easy, and the shuttles run all the time, so that won't even be an issue. Take your time, and plan to spend the whole day there. Okay. We're going to be there all day on Friday. We're going to try to get there about 9-ish in the morning and probably not leave till about 5 or 6 in the evening. And that will give us plenty of time to get through all the buildings. That's my main goal, is to be able to do that. So take your time, and also make sure, like I said, again, to take some water with you as well, because you don't want to get dehydrated. I can't tell you enough, because I saw some people at Hamcation earlier this year in Orlando. Even though it was in February, it was in the mid 70s, and some people were looking like they were getting dehydrated and having first aid taken care of them because they were dehydrated. So do yourself a favor. If you're going, make sure you take some water with you, some water bottles with you, so you can stay hydrated. That's very important. Okay. The pièce de résistance, we're going to look at the exhibitor list, and I don't want to say surprises. I'm not really, there were a couple surprises that I saw on here, or from ones I didn't see on here, really kind of threw me back. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this here. All right. Now I do have a link for this in the description, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. Justin, thanks for your comment. Appreciate that. All right. Now, you can take a look here, and this is a Hamvention commercial booth assignments. It was updated on 4/16/24, 12:55 Eastern Daylight Time. See some of the smaller ones here. Amateur Radio Emergency Data Network. ARRL, of course, is going to be there. Alinco is going to be there. Alpha Antenna is going to be there. I'm going to try to call out some of the ones that are paying. Arrow Antenna is going to be there. Bridgecom, of course. Budapol is going to be there. And again, feel free to listen. Christian Amateur Radio Fellowship, Comet Antennas. That's good. They make some good antennas. Dara is going to be there, and of course, DX Engineering. They're based out of Ohio. They were not at Hamcation, but they are here at Hamvention, and they're a major sponsor of Hamvention here. Dayton Convention and Visitors Bureau, Diamond Antenna. That's good. Elecraft will be there. That's good. Flagpoles. I think they probably make antennas as well. Gigaparts Live Demo. Greene County Convention and Visitors Bureau. Ham Radio Deluxe. Of course, Ham Radio Outlet will be there. Ham Radio Prep will be there. Ham Radio School will be there. Hamstudy.org will be there. Hamvention Prize Booth. We're going to talk about prizes here in a little bit. Heil will be there, of course. Huntsville Ham Fest. I stopped by and talked to them at Hamcation. Wonderful people, and we're really going to make an effort to get there. That sounds, from what everybody's told me, that's just a very much of a fun ham fest to go to. So we're really going to try to get up there this year. ICOM will be there, of course. Let's see, JBC Kenwood, Japan Amateur Radio League. That's interesting. Very, very nice. Linux in the Ham Shack. Let's take a look here. MFJ will be there. MTC will be there, and of course, that's Richard. National Weather Service will be there. Let's see. And again, Orlando Hamcation, of course, they'll be there. Prep.com, QRP, ARCI, QRP Labs, QRP Works, QSO Radio Show. Quicksilver Radio, they're fantastic. I have spent quite a bit of money and good money there. They do a fantastic work. They have just about everything you need as far as wires and power pole connectors and fuses and everything. They do a great job here. Okay. Let's see. Radio Amateurs of Canada. RT Systems is going to be there. Radio Waves. Rig Expert, they're good. Salvation Army. Signman of Baton Rouge, they did our name tags that Valerie and I have. Southwest Ohio GMRS Association. System AV Company. Tar Heel Antenna, that's good. Tower Electronics. U.S. Tower Corporation. VE2DX Electronics. WRTC 2026. Watts Electronics. West Mountain Radio, that's very good. I definitely want to talk to them. Wolfer Recoils will be there. That's great. Of course, Yaesu will be there. Youth Tech, Youth on the Air. And Yugashima, I'm sure that's probably something Japanese. Okay. Now, one of the ones that's missing on here, and they were not at Hamcation as well, is Chameleon Antenna. That is just a real surprise to me. That is absolutely just a real surprise. I can't figure that out. They weren't at Hamcation and they weren't at Hamvention. That's a mystery. Now, I did talk to some people to try to get a little bit more of a background. I talked to a couple of vendors, and what they told me is, a lot of how they decide to go to something like Hamcation or Hamvention or the Huntsville Ham Fest, it's based on sales. Okay. They need to make some money to be able to justify going to these ham fests. And if they don't make money, then they really, it's not really cost feasible for them to do something like this. So, in other words, DX Engineering, they don't really make a lot of money at Hamcation. This is what I was told. So that's why they weren't there. But conversely, they're coming to Hamvention, which is just right, because they're less than a couple of hours away up near. They're kind of near Akron, Canton area of Ohio. So that makes sense for them. But for Chameleon, this is one. It's a head scratcher. I don't understand Why they're not going to be there, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't know. They, there's some places I have spent some good money. DX Engineering, Ham Radio Outlet, Gigaparts, Quicksilver Radio. I've spent quite a bit of money, and probably the next one, it's right up there, is Chameleon Antennas. I've spent quite a bit of money with them, and incredible, wonderful products. I'm just kind of scratching my head why they're not there. I think it would be very profitable for them to be there. I mean, you know, it just seems every time they come out with a new product announcement, it's in my cart and I purchased it, and it's coming to me down here in Florida because I'm a real sucker for their stuff, and they make good quality stuff. They really do. They really do. So that's what I have as far as the exhibitors are concerned coming to Hamvention. It's a pretty good list. There's quite a few people that will be here. And like I said, one of the strategies and one of the tips for when you're going to this and going to an event like this is, probably what I want to suggest, maybe you can do this. And this is what I did down at Hamcation and seemed to work pretty well, is what I did was I took a walk. Well, Valerie's with me. We took a walk through the entire building and looked at all the vendors. Okay. Didn't really stop, but just, because when you first get there, it's just going to be a sea and a flood of people, and know what's in, of course, who's in the first building, second building, third, and so forth and everything. And then what I wanted to do was, I wanted to be able to stop and spend now. And what I do with that, of course, I'm filming for the channel. Okay. I'm going to take a video of my walkthrough. Oh, there's Quicksilver Radio. Oh, there's Alpha Antenna over there. There's Ham Radio Outlet there. There's DX Engineering there. There's Gigaparts there. We'll do the walkthrough with that. Okay. And then the second go around, what I want to do is I want to stop and be able to talk to a lot of these places. Okay. And that's kind of what we did. We divided up our afternoon when we went to Hamcation. We talked to quite a few vendors, and on Saturday morning, we talked to the rest of the vendors, and that's kind of what our game plan is, because it seemed to work out pretty well. Saturday, you'll probably have a little bit easier time accessing and talking to some of these vendors. Now, there's going to be places that are going to have lines the whole time. Like Ham Radio Outlet, they always had lines, but there's not really a vendor to talk to, so to speak, there. Okay. Same with DX Engineering. You want to just, I want to stop by and say, hey, thanks guys. You do a great job. Appreciate, your great customer service and fast shipping and everything like that. It'll probably be no more of a conversation than that, but you want to go spend some time. For example, I talked to Ray Novak from ICOM. Wonderful. I did a video with him. Wonderful. I wanted to talk to John Kruk. And John, if you're watching, I hope I get a chance to meet you. This time I didn't get a chance to meet you because you were teaching classes. Kudos to you. And John does a great job as well too with Yasu. I've watched him on Jason's show on Ham Radio 2.0. He just does a great job. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So it's basically what I'm going to do, and I want to stop at some of the mom and pop kind of places as well too. Like the Sign Man from Baton Rouge. I want to thank them for our badges, because they did our badges for us. I didn't get a chance to talk to a lot of these people when we went to Hamcation back in February, but I'm hopeful of being able to do that here. One of the other things is this, okay? If you see me there, all right, I'll make sure to get you some swag that we have. I still have swag from back in February. Are still in a tote bag. I'm going to buy some. I'm going to try to get some more together before we go, because that's coming up real quick. So, I got some pens, stickers, magnets, that kind of thing. My business card. I may have a few shirts that I might bring with me. So if you see me there, stop by and say hi. If you stop by and say hi, I watch your channel, really enjoy what you do. Or you can say you're pretty crappy. I don't like you at all. But no, I'm just kidding. But no, if you see me there, stop by, say hi, introduce yourself. I would love to do that. At the very least, I'll get you my business card, some stickers, a magnet, a pen. I handed out a bunch of stuff. I think I have some shirts that I can give away as well too. So love to be able to do that and see you and meet all you guys. Question of the day: what did you think of 2024 Hamvention Preview? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, it's a great day to make a QSO. 7 threes, everyone.